Welcome back to my storytelling channel, coming to you as always from Warrnambool on the southwest coast of Victoria in the southeast corner of Australia. Today, appropriately, 2 stories set by the sea. Call stories set by the sea. The first is a children's story written by Margaret Mahy, the late New Zealand storyteller. It's called The Man Whose Mother Was a Pirate. It was first introduced to me by a storyteller as her call story to storytelling. And then we'll hear the story of the call of Peter the Fisherman. Enjoy. Once there was a little man who had never seen the sea, even though his mother was an old pirate woman. The 2 of them lived in a great city, far, far away from the seashore. The little man always wore a respectable brown suit and respectable brown shoes. He worked in a neat little office where he wrote down rows of figures and ruled lines under them. Well, one day his mother said, "Shipmate, I want to see the sea again. I want to fire my old silver pistol and see the waves jump with surprise." "Oh, mother," said the little man, "we haven't got a car or a bicycle or even a horse, and we've no money either. All we have is a wheelbarrow and a kite." "We must make do," his mother answered sharply. "I'll go and load my pistol and polish my cutlass." The little man went to work. "Please, Mr. Fat," he begged his boss, "please may I have 2 weeks' holiday to take my mother to the seaside?" "I don't go to the seaside," said Mr. Fat crossly. "Why should you?" "It's for my mother," the little man explained. "She used to be a pirate." "Oh, well, that's different," said Mr. Fat, who rather wished he were a pirate himself. "But make sure you're back in 2 weeks or I'll buy a computer." So off they set, the little man pushing his mother in the wheelbarrow and his mother holding the kite. His mother wore a green scarf and gold earrings. Between her lips was an old black pipe, and behind one ear a crimson rose. The little man wore his brown suit buttoned and his brown shoes tied. He trotted along pushing the wheelbarrow. As they went, his mother talked about the sea. She told him of its voices. "It sings with a booming voice and smiles as it slaps the ships. It screams or sadly sighs. There are many voices in the sea and a lot of gossip too. Where are the great whales sailing? Is the ice moving in Hudson Bay? What's the weather in Tierra del Fuego?" The sea knows the answers to a lot of questions, and one wave tells another. "Oh, yes, mother," said the little man, whose shoes hurt him rather. "Where are you off to?" asked a farmer. "I'm taking my mother to the seaside," said the little man. "I wouldn't go there myself," said the farmer. "It's up and down with the waves, in and out with the tide. Sea doesn't stay put. the way a good hill does. My mother likes things that don't stay put, said the little man. Something began to sing in the back of his mind. Could this be the song of the sea? He wondered as he pushed the wheelbarrow. His mother rested her chin on her knees. Yes, it's blue in the sunshine, she said, and it's grey in the rain. I've seen it golden with sunlight and silver with moonlight and black as ink at night. It's never the same twice. They came to a river. There was no boat. The little man tied the wheelbarrow to the kite. A wind blew up, ruffling his collar and teasing his neat moustache. Hold tight, mother, he called. Up in the air they went as the wind took the kite. The little man dangled from the kite string. His mother swung in her wheelbarrow basket. This is all very well, Sam, she shouted to him, but the sea, oh, the sea, it tosses you up and it pulls you down. It speeds you along and it holds you still. It storms you and calms you. There's a bit of everything in the sea. Yes, mother, the little man said. The singing in the back of his mind was growing louder and louder, and as he dangled from the kite string, the white wings of the birds in the sky began to look like the white wings of ships at sea. The kite let them down gently on the other side of the river. Where are you going? Asked a philosopher fellow who sat reading under a tree. I'm taking my mother to the sea, said the little man. Oh, what misery, cried the philosopher. Well, I didn't much like the idea to start with, said the little man, but now there's this song in the back of my mind. I'm beginning to think I might like the sea when I get there. Go back, little man, cried the philosopher. The wonderful things are never as wonderful as you hope they'll be. The sea's less warm, the joke less funny. The taste is never as good as the smell. Hurry up, the sea's calling, shouted the pirate mother, waving her cutlass from the wheelbarrow. The little man trundled his mother away, and as he ran he noticed that his brown suit had lost all its buttons. Then something new came into the wind's scent. Glory, glory, there's the salt, cried his mother triumphantly. They came over the hill. Suddenly there was the sea. The little man could only stare. He hadn't dreamed of the bigness of the sea. He hadn't dreamed of the blueness of it. He hadn't thought it would roll like kettle drums and swish itself on the beach. He opened his mouth, and the drift and the dream of it, the weave and the wave of it, the fume and the foam of it never left him again. At his feet the sea stroked the sand with soft little paws. Farther out the great graceful breakers moved like kings into court, trailing the peacocked patterned sea behind them. The little man and his pirate mother danced hippy-hoppy, happy hornpipes up and down the beach. The little man's clothes blew about in the wind, delighted to be free at last. A rosy sea captain stopped to watch them. Well, here are two likely people, he cried. Will you be my boatswain, madam? And you, little man, you can be my cabin boy. Thank you, said the little man. "Say aye, aye, sir," roared the captain. "Yeah, aye, aye, sir," replied the little man, just as smartly as if he'd been saying "aye, aye, sir" all his life. So Sailor Sam went on board with his pirate mother and the sea captain, and a year later someone brought Mr. Fat a green glass bottle with a letter in it. "Having a wonderful time," the letter read. "Why don't you run off to sea too?" And if you want any more moral to the story than this, you must go to sea and find it yourself. Once, while Jesus was standing by the lake of Gennesaret, and the crowds of people were pressing in on him to hear the word of God, he saw two boats there by the shore. The fishermen had gone out of them to wash their nets. He got into one of them, the one belonging to Simon, and asked him to push out a little way from the shore. And he sat down and taught the people from the boat. When he had finished speaking, he said to Simon, "Push out into the deep and let your net down for a catch." Simon said, "Master, we've worked all night long and caught nothing, but if you say so, we will let down the nets." And when they did this, they caught so many fish that their nets were beginning to break. So they called their partners in the other boat to come and help, and they filled both boats with fish, so that they began to sink. When Simon Peter saw this, he fell at Jesus' knees and said to him, "Go away from me, Lord, for I am a sinful man." For he and all who saw the great catch were amazed, and so were James and John, the sons of Zebedee, who were partners of Simon. Jesus said to him, "Do not be afraid, Simon. From now on you will be catching people." And when they brought their boats to shore, they left everything and followed him.